Hello, hello, everybody. Wow, this is a view that we're all going to get used to. Welcome to the Coffee Run Live. It is episode 453, and welcome to Tuesday. What a fantastic good morning, Linda. What a fantastic, awesome, and amazing day it is for all of us, I reckon. Hello, Margaret. So first of all, I thought that, yes, for those of you that haven't seen the photographic evidence, I am sporting zero hair. Well, not quite as zero hair as the very fabulous Joe's. So what thanks, Linda. I'm sure, I know that Joe really appreciates it. And I do as well. So for a lot of you may or may not know one of my very, very, very best friends, the wonderful Joe Muirhead. Oh, thanks, Margaret. Is battling her way through cancer, and she's working through chemo at the moment. And I've been thinking about this a lot over the years, not just in this instance, but I love hair. and it made me kind of curious as to when and there's been quite a few people in my world over the years who have lost their hair through chemo and whatever, but it made me think about how much of my, let's not talk about everybody, but how much of my identity has absolutely been tied up in my hair, which is now, yesterday's live stream will make sense for a lot of you. And it's kind of like, it's not about the hair. It's not about the photos. It's not about the photo shoots rather and stuff like that actually makes you successful. It's who you are, it's your message, and it's everything else. But one of the things that I've been kind of I guess thinking about is it's such a big thing to not have hair, and I kind of almost feel like I don't have the right to talk about this, but because I'm not experiencing cancer personally in my own body, but it's really hard to have the very amazing Joe, who we've been really amazing friends for years, and to not be able to be with her in person. So I kind of said to her, and I know that she'd been having a lot of her she'd just been having some great success with her hair and stuff like that. So it's a really big freaking deal, I think, for women to have that choice, have that control kind of taken away, right? So I thought, I actually said to her, because she was talking about losing her hair, and I said, well, you know what, when you shave your head, I can shave mine with you if you want. Gave her she could choose, and she said, oh, that'd be really lovely. So this is what we did. So 7:00 last night, we were on a Zoom. She was at her hairdresser's, I sitting in my bathroom, and my husband shaved my head, and this is what we have. So there you go. It was a really easy decision for me, actually. And I don't know that I mind it. I feel like I'm a tennis ball, just a very fluffy tennis ball. So it's kind of interesting. Although what's really, really curious is that now I understand why my husband would always say rub his head, because it feels like when your hair's really short, you can feel all of the little hairs. It's really kind of curious. And lying on a pillow has never quite felt the way that it has like it did last night. Really, really interesting. So there you go. That's the story about the hair. Please give the very wonderful Joe, send her all of your love, prayers, healing, love, whatever it is that you do, send all of that. She needs all of that. So let's just keep sending on that over, and yeah, that's that. So we've been discussing different things, with wearing different wigs and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see the different hairstyles that we sport over the next few months while while she's embarking in that journey. So please just send all your love and light over to her, and prayers and wishes and everything. I know that she really appreciates it. And for any of you who have either experienced it yourself, or you've got friends and family who have, that you guys know how tough it is. So she would very much love all of the things that you can, all the positive things that you can send her way. I have zero doubt about that. So what I actually wanted to talk to you about today is about this, about the invisible wave of trust and kinked creativity hoosers. So it sounds a little peculiar, I am sure, but the thing that I found really, really interesting, and I know that I've spoken to clients about this in the last week as well, is when you're putting stuff out there and it doesn't seem to be being met with the same amount of enthusiasm as you might be putting stuff out, right? And thank you, Judith. And what I think is really important for you guys to understand, and if you're not experiencing this, then that's really fine, but a lot of people get really frustrated about, you know, not having that instant like evidence that people are listening to what you're putting out there and what you're saying, and you know, taking what you're putting out there with you. And the thing that I really wanted to remind you, I guess, is that there are so many people who have, it's all gone, Nicole. It's all shaved off. Check it. All gone. All gone. So you'll have to go back and listen to the start of the video to hear the story. The thing with the invisible wave is that you've got to, marketing visibility is a game of trust, right? Much like anything, like any kind of relationship at all, it's a game of trust. And the thing that we've got to remember is that all of this stuff that you are doing, that you're working on, that you're putting out there, it's a long game, right? Sometimes you will see the very short, like the short game evidence and the things that go like, yes, you're on the right track, like you've got this, yeah, yes, I'm in. And sometimes you'll see the sales come through really quickly, or the engagement come through really quickly. But a lot of the time, what we've got to remember is that it can be a very long game. And when I say long game, it doesn't mean that you're not going to see the results short term as well, because you will, but you won't necessarily see them visibly on your news feeds. So what happens is this: when people are watching you, a lot of the time, like I know a lot of you who watch my stuff, you don't actually actively comment. And whilst the ego part of me is like, why aren't you commenting? Like, come on, talk to me. You know, that's not the way that everybody acts, right? Nicole, plant the seeds, exactly. It's the kind of thing where you've got to really trust that the way that people are watching is that they're sitting there going like, yes, like they're watching, they're agreeing with you, but they might not actually be commenting. So I wrote an article for a company called My Business last week, and we were actually talking about I wrote about stop striving for engagement and, you know, start striving for profit. The thing that most people will do, and this is what happened, it's really interesting. So Joe tagged me in a post this morning with our hair. So for those of you who are playing catch up, one of my best friends and I, we shaved our heads last night at the same time. She's going through chemo and I can't be there to help her. So this is how I'm I'm being supportive of her plight in this way. It's the, you know, if I can't be with her, I'm going to be with her like this. So she tagged me in a post this morning which was a screenshot of her and I both with our, like her with a completely bald head and me with my little buzz cut. And there were people that have commented and liked that post of hers that I hadn't commented on it yet. I hadn't shared it yet. I hadn't done anything. And there were people like my friends clicking like and clicking comment and commenting on it and stuff like that. So the point being that a lot of people are watching what's going on, and the stuff that without you actively even doing anything necessarily, things will still show up in their feeds. And what I've noticed in the last few years is that people are less likely to comment because they don't necessarily always want everybody that they know seeing what they're engaging with and what they're commenting on and what they're liking, what they're following, and even who they're following. Some people don't want their clients to see who they're following and what they're doing. I don't know why. It's really interesting. But I guess like the thing is that there's almost like this invisible wave that kind of happens. And what happens with a tide, right, is you don't have to know that it's happening like cognitively, but you know that the tide will always come in, it will always go out. It will always come in and it always comes back. And that's the thing that will happen with this invisible wave of people who kind of follow you. There'll be a ton of people that will come through and will love what you're doing and will talk about it. And Nicole, you absolutely nailed it. It is about planting the seeds and trusting that the seeds and the watering and that whatever is going on underneath the dirt is doing what it's supposed to be doing. And then you can like reap your rewards. You can harvest your crop, so to speak, when you're in launch mode and you're doing all of that. The other thing is, and this is how it's linked to the creativity course, I was going to put kinky hoses and I thought that sounded a little bit weird. We don't need to talk about that. But the kinked creativity hose, like it's the other thing. Like, so we've got this most people that I talk to, they number one worry about like lack of engagement or a perceived lack of engagement, a perceived lack of audience, and a perceived lack of interaction. And then the other side of it is, okay, well, we've got this stuff going on over here, but then we've also got, the worry that kicks in around creativity. And I know I feel like this sometimes. I'm like, oh my God, holy shit. Like when's the next idea coming? Or is it done? Am I toast? Like, am I completely cooked? Is there no more, ideas? And I think the thing that we've got to keep coming back to is, and the overall message for today is to trust that you, number one, always make the right decisions, but also number two, that the work that you're doing is working for you and not against you, right? And so I guess like what I mean by that when I'm thinking about this, the creativity hose, like when you've got a garden hose and it's got a kink in it and it's like, there's no water coming out, right? The tap's on and there's no water coming out. What you've got to do is kind of like come back and unravel and unwind it a little bit and then just go like, so that you've got that smooth conduit for the water to actually come out. Creativity is the same. Like the way that I like to think about it, so imagine that there's like a trap door on top of my head, right? My very short hair head, which is still really weird seeing myself in the camera, FYI. So if like all the ideas are up here, right? Hi Evie, happy Tuesday. You've got all of these ideas floating around up in the cosmic universe, like up in the collective up there, the collective consciousness, higher self, whatever you've got going on up there, whatever you think. And I like to sometimes imagine that there's a hose connected in here and that the ideas normally just kind of like come right in. And so sometimes it does feel like it feels like there's a disconnect or whatever. So the thing that you've got to think about is, all right, well, how do we open up that hose? How do you open up that conduit and allow the ideas to come in? And it's about trusting that the ideas are up there, right? It's just about tapping in to the thing that's going to make those ideas and have that kind of flow through. And to me, the way that I'll do that is by writing is one way. So I'll be journaling and things will start to come through me, and often when I'm typing actually as well, like that it seems to happen. Some days it'll happen with the writing and the journaling. Other days it happens with the typing. The ideas will come in. It's rare that I can sit still. You won't be surprised by this. It's rare that I can sit still for any length of time and have that and have those ideas drop in. Oh, thanks, Angela. It's just I'm very visual. So for me, it's just like it's kind of like there is never a lack of ideas. There's never a lack of inspiration. It's just about how you can open up that conduit to allow it to come in. And that's a trust thing to me. And it's also that knowing that when the right idea drops in, that you've got to action on it, right? It's like the message to Joe, you know, this is my thinking. What do you think? Like, I'm happy to do this for you. But, you know, you can, like, you've got first right of refusal. It's like when I get an idea, like even the Soar Collective, I wasn't even trying to think of, I don't sit there. It's rare that I'll sit and I'm like, all right, what program am I going to create today? Like, what am I going to launch? What am I going to sell? What am I going to try and put out there? How am I going to help people today? Usually it comes through from kind of like some of the way. Sometimes it's like a lightning bolt through the brain, and other times it's like I'll be doing something and it just kind of like drops in, or like filters in, like it rains in. And it's like, all right, well, better go and do this thing and make it all happen, right? And so the really big thing is, for me, is trusting. And whether you're riding the invisible wave and you're waiting, you know, I think like if you're sitting there waiting for people to comment and engage and buy in and all of that, then it's kind of like, if you want to listen to a good book, I couldn't have read it. If you want to listen to a good book, have a listen to Power versus Force by Dr. David R. Hawkins. And it's such a really great book, because you can kind of like push up against it and almost like be demanding and be like, okay, come on, I'm ready. You know, what's the program? Get engaged today. Come on, people, like comment. And you can kind of like try and do that, but it's almost like this forcing kind of energy, versus if you just kind of sit back and you just let your words do the thing, it's then about trusting. So it's always, to me, about trusting that that seeds that you've planted are going to germinate, that they're going to set their roots down, that they're going to grow, and that you can harvest the crop. So thank you, Nicole, for that. That's a really great metaphor. You know, and it's such an important thing. And it's the same with the creativity hose. You know, if you feel like you've got a kink in your hose, then what can you do? What do you know works? For me, it's journaling and it's typing. There's usually some kind of there's some kind of movement. So Angela, like, yeah, from Life on the Run, certainly one that's certainly one way of looking at it. The other thing that I know though is that if I'm walking around, like, I think this is part of why I talk with my hands. You know, I'll often record audios for clients or do things while I'm walking and while I'm moving, because like for whatever reason, it's like, I don't even know if it's a distraction thing, but it definitely helps to kind of like open up the trap door and allow the whatever it is that's supposed to come through almost to kind of come through me. So that's that. I trust that is helpful for you today. Hello, Carol. So the big things that I want to leave you with today is, number one, how can you sit more in trust, right? How can you sit more in trust? If you knew, this is some journaling prompts for you if you want to think about it like that as well. If you knew that the words that you spoke were going out there and doing the job that they needed to do without you having to force it, without you having to try really fucking hard, if you knew that they were just out there doing the thing that they needed to do, reaching the people that they needed to reach, and that you were then going to be rewarded financially, emotionally, energetically, like in all of that way, if you knew that all of that was going to happen, regardless of anything, what would you be saying? What would you be doing? How certain would you be feeling? Because I know for me, when I think about that, and I'm like, all right, my job today is just to like show up and let the words do what they need to do, to let my book do what it needs to do, to let my writing do what it needs to do, to let the articles do what it needs to do, to let the hair, the like whatever it is that's going on, like to let all of those things just go and do their job, then I can kind of sit back and it's almost like and I love the way that Elizabeth Gilbert talks about this as well. It's kind of like saying to God, universe, source, whatever, it's like, all right, I'm going to do my thing and I'm going to hold your hand and you've got to go out and do your thing. Like, let that side of things do its work, and then you just take the action and you just do the showing up. Like, how would that change your energy? What would you be saying? Additionally, the second thing is like with your creativity hose, like if you've been feeling like it's kind of kinked in any way, hi mom! Everyone say hi to my mom, Jackie. Look mom, do you like my hair? I know I sent you photos. You should hurry up and get up here so you can touch it. So with your creativity hose, like if that's feeling a bit kinked, if you can kind of come back and think and ask yourself, all right, again, if I knew that all I needed to do was to kind of like adjust yourself and do some different things to allow that creativity to come through, I wonder what would happen. I wonder how many cool ideas you would have. I wonder what you would do. I wonder what you would say. I wonder what you could create. I wonder how you could feel. I wonder how free you would feel. All of that kind of stuff. Jessica, thank you. Yeah, they're the key messages for today. So trust. What would you be sharing and saying if you knew that the everything that you were doing was doing the job that you needed to do? And then the third thing is that, the kinky hose, how can you unblock or just unkink that hose so that the right ideas can come through at the right time? And how can you access those in the most powerful way? So there you are. That's that. Angela, great question. Yeah, ponder. It's a really it's a really interesting thing. I think this. Hey Shan. It's an interesting thing, right? Because I think we want to control everything so much, and we want that instant gratification. Like we want that instant reply. We want that instant, I know that I have in the past anyway. It's like we always want to know that we're on the right path. We want that validation that we're on the right path, that we're making the right choices and we're making the right decisions. And it comes back to our basic human core need, one of our basic human core needs being certainty, right? So if you can sit in that sense of certainty before you've got that external evidence, like it's so liberating, I think, because you can just be like, wow, bitches, I got this shit handled. I know that we can make this happen. I know that we can do this, all of that type of thing. So, yeah, I'm glad that I hope that helps. Thank you. By the way, your hair is stunning. So many people will be running for buzz cuts. Well, thanks, Shen. I think it was an interesting choice. I think, or not an interesting choice, because it really wasn't. That's not what I'm trying to say. To me, it's like, this is, so many people have that are experiencing cancer, like my Joe. They don't have a choice in the losing of the hair thing. So I'm just like, wow, fuck, I can't, this is the best way to me of being able to, from a very, very long distance away, to be able to demonstrate some solidarity. Thanks, Reggie. So yeah, there you go. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Let's see how long it lasts. I don't know. All right, everybody, I'm going to love you and leave you. Have a rockin' awesome, fabulous, and very, very amazing day. And I can't wait to see you on the internet even more. Sink into trust even more. Let me know what comes up for you, what you can create. And remember, it's time for you to get on out there, go help some people, go be amazing while you're doing it. And please remember that the world is ready for your brand of awesomeness. I will see you, if not before, I will see you tomorrow. See you later. Oh, thanks, Jess. You're gorgeous. Thank you. Bye.